goal of the year goes for the Raiders.
Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin. Oh, was that beautiful?
Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike 3.
The Blowy. Touchdown Raiders.
From McNamara Stadium at Todd Field, week 3 of the Minnesota high school football season in 2023 as the 1-1 Hastings Raiders take on the 1-1 Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Hello everybody from Todd Field in Hastings. Nick Tuckner alongside Owen, the mailman. And Owen, again, we've been talking about this all season, and again, the team needs to get an early roll. We're talking about the Hastings Raiders. We saw it last week at home, not necessarily offensively, but defensively here as we came into the game yesterday, or last week. It seems like yesterday because we're here on a Thursday, of course, but it seemed like the defense was able to carry where the offense not necessarily couldn't, but really gave us enough to come away with the win. And, of course, special teams also factored into it. So, really, there was 3 phases that chimed in. Just need a little more offense, I think, against a stout Zephyr defense.
Yeah, no question. And, this Zephyrs team, maybe they're not as good as they've been in the last couple of years, being a team that perennially makes it to the playoffs. But, this would be a big win for this team very early on, and you're absolutely right. You don't want to rely on your defense too much, but it's so heartening to see that this early in the season they have such cohesion defensively. And, I think this really could be a breakout offensive game because we saw the flashes last Friday, and now here on Thursday, which feels weird to say, we might see a breakout game even further.
It could happen again tonight, especially if they can get that offense rolling, and we'll see here if they can, but we're going to have to wait until we play a defensive drive first. As Jack Sieben toes up the football at the 40-yard line, Raiders will go left to right to open up this game tonight. Nick Tuckner, Owen Ely here live from McNamara Stadium at Todd Field. If you're tuned in on a Thursday, of course, Vikings football also tonight. Twins baseball approaching playoffs. It's that time. It's fall sports. Here is week number 3 of the Minnesota high school football season as the kickoff will be juggled at the 10, at the 12, 15, 20, up the right side, up the hash mark, finds room to the 40 to the 42-yard line. A big return after juggling the opening kickoff. Gunnar Sather, the senior running back, he comes up with a big return, and special team shows up early for Mahtomedi.
Well, if that's how this game is going to go off the rip, I'm excited for tonight. It's almost like as he was bobbling it almost worked out in their favor because it gave the blockers time to set up lanes.
Right. Raiders come out defensively to open things up here. Charlie Brandt, starting quarterback for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. He'll wear the number 3. You'll see him working in his white uniform, navy blue helmets, gold trim with the navy numbers and pants. Very reminiscent to what you'll see in the Big Ten out of the Michigan Wolverines. I formation here for Brandt as he hands off in the backfield. And the give is to Alec Mahoney, who won't go too far. He gets a second little burst there after hitting the line. And then he'll get about, I'll call it 3. So second down at about 7 here to open things up as we look at Mahoney's stats.
Yeah, just early in the season, but those don't look too bad to me. 8.6 yards per carry. He's been absolutely trucking along this season, and I like the Skull chant we had from the Raiders student section. Very nice homage to the Vikings. May they beat the Eagles here tonight.
I hope so. It'd be wonderful. We can keep you up to date. I know that Manny Hill to our left over the PA, he doesn't want to know the score because he does this antiquated thing called DVRing a game. So you will not hear our scoring updates, but we'll try to keep you up to date, Twins, as well as we go along here. We're on Hastings Community Television, and also today we're on HCTV in the Mahtomedi area. Thank you all for tuning in. Nick Tuckner, Owen Ely, the mailman alongside. I'm going to be frank with you folks. My tired self here this morning, of course, as many of you folks know in Hastings, unfortunate circumstance at the Creamery this morning. Here's a handoff on the pitch out right side. That's going to be a flag as well. Sorry, left. and it's going to end up being close to a first down, but I think this is going to come back. Oh, and it looked like it was right at the center position. They already signaled even that this is going to be a hold and come back. So penalties helping the Raiders out a little bit early on after some burst early on out of the backfield for Mahtomedi.
Well, there's no question. It was a little bit of a delayed penalty, much to the dismay of the crowd and the coaching staff, but I mean, it was clear as day. That penalty happened out there on an island. And we'll take another look at the play here on the replay. We'll see if we can catch it on the top left of the screen. Can't really see it there.
It was right at the center position. And unfortunately couldn't get that near side, but yeah, it was right there in the middle. The official made the call as soon as he saw it. He even signaled before the play was really even over. So back them up from the spot. Now call it second down and 15, 10:39 to go. First quarter, Todd Field the site. Week 3 of the Minnesota high school football season. Hastings 1-1, taking on the visiting Mahtomedi Zephyrs, also 1-1. Deep pass from Brand. He's got a man, but he overthrows him. Getting back behind the coverage, Will Newman. Very good athlete out of Mahtomedi, multi-sport kid. And they're incomplete, but we saw the arm on Brandt right there, and again, he can hit it deep, and that's the thing. The Raiders in the secondary, I know they played extremely well last week, but a lot of stuff was kind of underneath. Brandt right now, not only really passing the ball, but also running the football effectively, so the Raiders got to be ready for that dual threat.
And a dual threat will just destroy defenses if they're not ready, so that's going to be quite the challenge. And although he didn't complete that one, that was a beautiful spiral, so that's something they're really going to have to watch out for.
That's something I always dreamed about, catching at flag football on a Saturday night up in the cities. Here is Brandt again. He will give the handoff up the middle. Big bruising back. Gives a bruise as well there. On the play, stepping up was Creed Peterson, but he was hit hard by the back. And Cole Sanger, and again, he's another guy that delivers that thunder thump along with that lightning that we've seen so far out of the Mahtomedi backfield. And they'll do that. They like to rotate as many backs in as they possibly can to keep everybody fresh, and they always seem to have 4 or 5 guys.
And what a takedown there by Peterson, but what a play call by Mahtomedi, because that was 3rd and 15, and they just rushed for a first down. I mean, the confidence they have in their backs.
We saw last week, though, a couple times where Henry Sibley / Two Rivers did convert on 3rd and long. That looked like it was a motion penalty, but not called. Handoff up the middle, and again, some power running, this time out of Menomonie, who has been chunking yards after yards, and he's around 8 yards a carry this season so far through 2 games, and now he adds on another 8. It's going to be second down and about 2.
You know, and that's where Hastings has struggled at time trying to defend the power run, because, I mean, it's a tale as old as time with this Raiders defense. They're not the biggest defenders out there. They're very fast. They do very well generally against speedy backs, but this is a big offensive line for Mahtomedi.
And they're trying to do what Two Rivers did last week and utilize some of that physicality. Raiders did not bend in the face of that at all and kind of kept that momentum going. And here's a short run, but probably enough for a first down. Looks like it will be enough, as about a 4-yard gainer up the right side hash mark will give the Mahtomedi Zephyrs another free set of downs. Here is Mahoney rumbling. I should say that was not. Say it was Sanger. It was Sanger with the carry.
Gain of 5. First down, Mahtomedi.
First down, says Matty Hill. Officially 8:40 to play first quarter from Todd Field. Beautiful night. I don't know how many more of these we're going to get on. Seriously, just being in Minnesota, we got to thank the man above for these nights and days when we get around 80 degrees. Here's the pass, right side, quick pass. That's going to be caught immediately by Sather, and he's taken down after a gain of about 5. Raiders had a couple in on the tackle, including Chumsland, and also Barrett Boardman, the impressive sophomore who really looked good 1 week ago here at home.
And this was a problem with the Raiders defense the last couple of years, but not so much this year thus far. As you know, they've played their corners really far off, and you know, I suppose that's why Mahtomedi is stretching the field, because he can hit those underneath stuff. But we saw, you know, in week 1 and week 2, they played their corners, you know, pretty pressed to the line.
Raiders, like Owen was just saying too, content maybe giving them the 4 or 5 yard gainers, just not trying to give up anything hot over the top and deep, really. Is this one given back up the right side, and again a power run by Cole Sanger, and this duo of Mahoney and Sanger is eating up the Raider defensive front here early on, just churning up that right hash mark.
And, unfortunately, Mahtomedi, they don't have their heights and weights listed on their roster.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Sanger is almost as big as some of these defensive linemen for the Raiders.
Yeah, he's a big dude. They've always had big guys. I remember back about 10 years ago maybe, they had TJ Tumbleson. That kid was maybe 5'9", but 220, 225, 230. And that guy would hit people so unbelievably hard running the football. And I just remember watching him bounce off of guys, and I'm like, who is this guy? And he was not the fastest, but he had enough speed to be just dangerous. And the power was really there. This option pitch right, not going to get much of anything as Mahoney runs into a host of Raiders on the outside, led by Ryan Clemens.
Well, we'll take another look at it on the replay. Speaking of danger, that is quite a dangerous play if you don't execute that perfectly, and even then they only gained a yard.
Option pitches sometimes can be strewn about. The Raiders would love to see a loose ball at this point. Now in the red zone is Mahtomedi I formation. 2 receivers left, 1 short side right in front of the Mahtomedi bench. Pitch out goes left side, and this will be carried by Mahoney. Gets wide to about the 10, and he's going to be just short of a first down. So 3rd and short from about the 10 here, Owen. This is going to be a big play for the Raider defense early.
Yeah, absolutely. Could potentially be 4-down territory. I don't exactly know the kicking situation for Mahtomedi, but I can tell you their offensive attack incredibly varied with, delays, runs to the outside like we saw there, runs up the middle, which have been particularly damaging to the Raiders defense here early on in the first quarter.
I formation. Sanger, the fullback. Tailback will be Mahoney. And out of the I, the fullback gets it. Sanger up the middle. He'll get a first down, but just short of the goal line. Call it the 2.
Sanger, the ball carrier.
This is impressive. First drive of the game for either team. The Zephyrs have predominantly run. They've thrown a couple of passes, the complete passes of the short variety, trying to take the top off the defense, the long pass, and was incomplete by just inches. However, they have shown already in this first drive that they have a variety assortment of plays that they're ready to unveil. This time they're going to go with 2 receivers left, short side of the field.
Thomas Connor subbed into the game.
Connor with a big pick last week. This time it's going to be the quarterback on the keeper, and Brandt is going to be in for a touchdown. It's a 2-yard touchdown run for quarterback Charlie Brandt. And the Mahtomedi Zephyrs have a 6-0 lead.
From 2 yards out.
Wow, that was a pretty devastating drive for the Raiders. I mean, just slowly but surely. Even the penalties didn't really hurt him that much, and those runs up the middle are so hard to defend because it's almost like the defense doesn't have any time to react, and by the time they do, he's already well past the line of scrimmage.
Chewed up 7 minutes of game clock.
Charlie thinking on for the extra point.
Kick on the way from Charlie Tyne, and he'll put it up and good.
Extra point is good.
And that makes the score 7-0. Mahtomedi leading, and different than last week. The Raider defense needed to set a tone. They knew that. They came out, did just that. This time, a score on the first drive of the game. Now, you've played 2 games already this year, one of which kind of went the way that this one's starting to go, where the other team will score first, and then you want to find a way to stop that. And I think you and I will both stress this. The team like Mahtomedi, you cannot allow them to get up by 2-3 scores because they just do not allow you to come back, as we take a look at head coach Dana Strain, who really knows quite a bit about this particular team.
Yeah, there's no question about this, and this Raiders team, it's not, never say never, but it's not really a team that's built to come from behind. It's a team that's built to hold on to a lead and just run out the clock and just play, real grimy football. So this is quite the challenge early on. I mean, it's anybody's game, obviously. It's just a touchdown, but it's kind of a precarious position for the Raiders to find themselves in.
Mahtomedi would love to play grimy football between the hashes all night, and that's what we're probably going to see here as Hastings will get their first crack with the football here on the return. Was that Paint? I believe far side. Was it 15? Yes, it was. Antoine Paint with the return for the Raiders. And they will start with the football at their own 22-yard line. So 1st and 10 Hastings. And here comes The Raider offense, led by quarterback Lucas Foss, a 6'3", 230-pound junior quarterback. And so far this year, 178 yards through the air, a touchdown, no picks. He's also got one in through the ground game as well, and he's going to have a big game. And you're already looking at a deficit. You know you're going to have to rest some of these laurels now on your quarterback.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, this is, as a starting quarterback in your first year, I mean, these are the moments they're going to build on for the rest of the season.
Foss sounded the gun, call it pistol left. One receiver left, short side, near side, two to the right. Handoff will go to Cole Zion, and he will get about 2. Near the 25-yard line, right up that left hash, taking a page out of the Mahtomedi playbook is offensive coordinator Jason Cook and the Raiders. There's Cole Zion. 21 carries, 91 yards so far. Not a bad yards per carry average of 4.33. He's got a receiving touchdown on that shovel pass 1 week ago, and that 4.33, that's pretty good in the pros and whatnot, but when you look at a guy on the other side who's averaging double that, that's something where you got to, again, put a little onus on the young man tonight and say, we might need a little bit of extra from you on the ground tonight. Yeah,
it's really setting up for a breakout game for Zion if he can rise to the occasion.
Find some room. That's going to be the big key for him. Left hash mark again. The handoff does go to Zion, finds a little bit of room, gets through that initial penetration from Mahtomedi, and will gain 3 more up that same left hash. It seems like both teams pretty comfortable up that side. Mahtomedi pretty much played every one of their plays, if not a couple on the left side, but working that particular end of the field. 3:45 to go. Clock runs. We're in the first quarter from McNamara Stadium at Todd Field. Nick Tuckner, Owen Ely, we're on a Thursday night. Yes, folks, if you're tuning in live, Thursday night football. No game for the Raiders tomorrow, obviously. If you want football, tune into KDWA tomorrow, and you can hear Prescott football. On the rollout, here comes Foss. Foss keeps the ball himself. He should have enough for a first down, and he's clobbered. We don't need our quarterback taking those hits, but a nice run nonetheless by the big fella. And like we said, he's kind of like how when we saw a couple of years ago, you can go back to Sully Levis. You can continue and look at some of these other guys too that have come through the area in Hastings at quarterback, and they're not the fastest guy, but elusive. And you see that again out of what Lucas Foss is doing under center.
And you take the yardage. That's what Mahtomedi gave him the first down. It's just there for you to take it, so you got to take it. Although we would like to see him slide maybe. We don't want him taking hits like that.
Right. We want to have him healthy, no doubt about that. Handoff to Zion, gets outside, but he goes to the short side where he runs out of room, and I don't think he got back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a loss here.
Boy, that's such a short field when you're on the extreme hashes. It's a tall task to try to climb up the sidelines there, and Cole Zion found that out the hard way.
Hastings Raiders 1-1. Mahtomedi, same record. Teams having kind of a similar route. Playing a top team in the state week 1, and then week 2 getting a big victory to even the record. Foss, 3 receivers, trips to the left side. Raiders with 1 running back in the backfield. He gets it at Zion, and he gets a big shoulder from the outside, and it's Sanger, who is big carrying the football offensively. He comes in and gives a little shoulder check that you might see on the ice during the wintertime, and he just knocks this much smaller running back in Zion sideways for only a gain of 1. And the Raiders are in a 3rd and long situation, something they know they have to avoid tonight against a stout Mahtomedi defense.
It's such a weird vibe for the Raiders to be in, because you want the urgency of scoring here, because you don't want to get down, but you also don't want to put too much pressure because there's plenty of game to go on.
Foss with pressure coming, and there's some contact. Raiders all want a call, not going to get it. Jack Burdick, the 6'2 senior, was in the area, and yes, there was contact, but nothing that I would construe as pass interference, so this is going to be a punting situation now for Hastings. They did get a first down out of the deal, but no points, and now we give it back to the dangerous Mahtomedi offense. Vincent Zion back at the 24, the Raiders' own. Good snap from Teglin. The kick, kind of wobbly left, but takes a good Raider hop, and then a big hit! Elected to pick it up probably not the best decision as he met up with Cole Zion on the return. So a big hit there as Ethan Boki tried to do something with the football in the return, and that was not going to happen for Mahtomedi, so no gain. And the Raider defense will come out and try to rest on the coattails of what their special teams unit was just able to do.
I got to tell you, that's one of my least favorite plays I see happen at the high school level, because only bad things can happen when you do that. I mean, you're always thinking, oh, maybe I can Dante Hall return this to the end zone. Yeah. It's so much more likely that you lose the ball. So the Mahtomedi is actually fairly lucky there.
High formation pass now on first down. Brandt trying to get it to Newman. It went through his hands, and Raiders had more blue and gold there than white and navy, and could have maybe had a pick. It was Cade Kimmis in the vicinity. But Raiders playing well defensively there in the right spot at the right time. Second down and 10 with just over a minute to play, 1:16 to go. First quarter from Todd Field. High formation, right side. The handoff will go back up the middle, and carrying the pile will be Mahoney. He'll get about 4. That'll bring up third down and about 6 for Mahtomedi.
And that was Brady Nickel early with the contact and the tackle, just holding on to him like a leech.
Brady Nichols, one of the best tacklers on this Raider team. And we're going to need him tonight to do exactly as he did last week. He might not have shown up with a bunch of sacks and interceptions, but boy, was his presence felt all night. And he was one of those guys, the one that you mentioned, getting what we would call defensive assists. I mean, just flying around, doing things that would end up benefiting his teammates and then the team as a whole. High formation, third down. Here comes the rush. Pass put on. That's going to be caught. Near side, 35. That's not going to be enough. And it's going to be 4th and short. We might have to wait until the second quarter for this 4th down play. A great grab, but an even better stop as the Raiders' Creed Peterson there to wrap him up, utilize that wrestling skill that he has, and gets a big stop to bring up 4th down, and that's going to be coming up right after. Well, yep, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to quickly give credit to Ryan Clemens for laying off, because how many times do we see that? How many times did we see that last game where you're pressuring the quarterback and you hit him late? That could have negated such a great defensive stop. That's something that senior teams like this don't do.
And we get a big play to round out the first quarter. We'll come back from Todd Field in just a moment. 7-0 Zephyrs after 1 quarter. You are watching Raider football on Hastings Community Television and HCTV.
Who are we? We are artists. We are entertainers. We are storytellers. We are teachers. We keep you informed. We follow the action. Who are we? We are Hastings Community TV.
Back at Todd Field, and not so good punt does take a little bit of a Mahtomedi bounce, but it's going to only bounce to the Hastings 46.5-yard line. Raiders will start 1st and 10. They did punt on 4th and short. So again, they're going to play some field position with a 7-0 lead as Mahtomedi, and now it's the Raider offense's turn to really put together an awesome drive here and maybe end it with some points, because you know as well as I, if we can keep this game close, and I mean close as in a 1-score game tied, even the Raiders taking the lead, they're going to have a better chance in that second half, especially getting the football.
Yeah, this is critical, because Mahtomedi made a mistake. They punted the ball about 7 yards. It's time to capitalize here.
Raiders work left hash. Out of the shotgun, 4-receiver box along the right side, stacked. Handoff this time goes to Cole Zion, gets outside, and this time gains 2. So a lot of running, gains 2. Kind of what they were trying to do in the first quarter, go up the middle, use that seam a little bit, and now they try to utilize the outside and the long side of the field. Unfortunately, though, Mahtomedi was ready for what the Raiders were trying to do.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing I took away from their first drive. They're going to have to fix this run game because you can't be getting 1 yard a carry because that's a recipe to have a 3rd and 8 and then really limit the type of play calls that you can give a younger quarterback.
And right now, Foss, the junior, trying to move his offense 2nd and 9 from their own 47. Raiders right to left on your TV screen as you watch. Motion 1 to the backfield. Cloutier fake the jet, and oh my goodness. Huge hit again by Sanger, who's factoring in on both sides of the ball. He says hello to Cole Zion once again, rudely at that. And these two guys are going to probably meet up a few more times, but not after Ryan Clemens is going to come in here to get in the backfield on 3rd down and long, as the Raiders don't want to give it right back. And
I was just going to say that. I'm so glad to see Zion coming out because that whiplash at the end, you got to care about player safety, even if it doesn't look, even if he's not, doing a wobbly dance or anything. I like that they brought in Clemens here.
Give him a moment. Zion will take a knee or two over on the far side, stretch out, get that breath going through the lungs. Out of the shotgun again. 2 receivers to each side. Foss has plenty of time. Throws up a deep ball. He's got a man, but overthrows him along the sideline. 4th down. Pretty enough ball, just threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, it was just a split second too late. If that was a little bit earlier, it was a beautifully run route by Cloutier. He had the space underneath to try to come back to make the catch on the sidelines, and just, it's a game of inches.
Vincent Zion on to attempt his 2nd punt. Stationed at his own 28. Snap from Taglin, wonderful. Zion, plenty of time, gets off an end-over-end punt that Mahtomedi says no thank you to. Takes a little hop from Mahtomedi to the 25, their own. And that's where the Zephyrs will start. They'll work that near hash in just a moment as the offense comes back on, led by Charlie Brandt, who had the 2-yard touchdown run that gave Mahtomedi the 6-0 lead, which turned into 7 after the extra point by Thine. And now here we are with 10:04 to go. 2nd quarter, and now the Raider defense again going to be counted on to make a big stop. And this is a common trend that we cannot get into because you keep giving this defense drive after drive after drive. They're going to be worn out come the 4th quarter.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, this defense can hold up until it can't. That's true of every defense if you put enough pressure on them.
It's already kind of starting to roll, and that was a broken play, I think, as Brandt ends up taking it up the middle, or that was just a design play. It looked like a broken play, but it turned into a 5-yard gain or so. So whether it was a broken play or not, it was a positive net gain for Mahtomedi. And now 2nd down and 5 from the 30. Mahtomedi's own as we get to about 9:35 on the clock. 2nd quarter, 1st half from Todd Field. Nick Tuckner, Owen Ely for HCTV. Also simulcast on SCCTV. Here's a handoff up the middle. Ball's out! Raiders got it! Hastings has it back! And this one's picked up by Boardman, the sophomore, and he makes another big play as Mahoney loses the football, and the Raiders get it back. Great field position, and what do we see here, Owen?
Just plenty of pressure. I mean, it looked like Mahtomedi couldn't block anybody. They were coming, like water through like a wicker basket or something, and they just popped it out, fell out, and then 2 Raiders fell on it. Boardman got the recovery. Just when I thought this defense couldn't get any better, like here comes this sophomore Boardman coming in here making plays just like he did in the home opener.
Now the student crowd in pink is standing. We're ready to rock and roll. Let's do it this time. Foss out right side, has him in. Oh, through the fingertips of Burdick as he had him wide open. He threw the football only where Burdick could get it. Unfortunately, the tall fella just had it go off his fingertips. 2nd down. We wanted that one, Owen.
Game of inches right there, just a little bit too high. But this is what I talked about in the last game. You have to make that fumble count. Because if you go 3rd and out, that fumble did not matter at all. You have to make them pay here. You have such a short field. Yeah, you've had trouble running the ball here thus far, but maybe you put Clemens in a little bit bigger of a back. Maybe you try to go to some of those more creative plays that we saw in the home opener just to try to even this score.
Raiders will now spread out, 2 to the right side, 1 to the left, and that's the short side of the field. Tight end Foss set up as well off right. Now quick pass. That one's going to be dropped. Dropped there. by the aforementioned Matt Foss. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 10. And you can hear the frustration in my voice and almost hear the quiet frustration in the crowd now with 3rd down. And Raiders got to get a big play here. And I'm starting to sound like a broken record way too early in this game.
You just don't want the momentum to die because that was such a special play, such a game-altering play if you really let it be. I would look to see if Foss can't make something happen with his legs here like he did on that critical 3rd down conversion on the last drive.
Burnick and Cloutier are joined on the far right side by Esterby, who made a giant catch, one of the best you'll see last week. Foss, plenty of time. Pass is going to be incomplete. Burnick kind of, unfortunately, alligator arm that one. Sensed pressure coming from the back, only put that one arm up. And
okay, Tuck, here's the interesting thing now. You're at the 33. That'd be a 50-yard field goal.
No, you go. Got to go here. I love Jackson. He knows that. And you just don't, you can't hear with the way the wind's blowing. The wind's a crosswind from 50. It's just, no. So I get it. 4th down and 10, you're going to have to go. I think that was the mentality of that last play, too, is, hey, however many yards we get, we're going to go for it anyway. So, unfortunately, it's 4th and 10. And like you said, you got to make something happen here to make that fumble count. 3 receivers right. Foss in trouble. The pressure comes. He's sacked. Michael Kasel in on there along with Eric Butke, the senior.
You know, I like that 3rd down play call a lot better because they had Foss rolling out to where he could have scrambled, just kind of threw it, back shoulder. And I don't exactly know what the plan was here. Looks like it was a delayed QB keeper, and it was Clemens trying to block 2 or 3 Zephyrs and just didn't work out, turnover on downs. And Foss is kind of shaken up a little bit on the play as well to rub in the salt.
Props to Mahtomedi, though, for sending the dogs and really saying, hey, we're going to come after you on 4th down. Kind of gave up the backside as this one Sanger rumbles ahead for about 4, but that's a bummer for Hastings because they needed points there. And now you give it back to Mahtomedi. First responders coming through on 61 and after Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Anytime you see those lights now, you just think about them as they go to whatever call they're going to and thank them for all they did, all those agencies that helped us Wednesday night and Thursday at the Creamery. From a Hastings bleeding heart, we thank you from our entire community. Here's the handoff. Got him in the backfield! Brady Nichols there, and he gets plenty of help from Alton Majetic, who came in and said, no way, not tonight, not on a Thursday at Todd Field.
Absolutely not. We'll take another look at the replay there, and two players beat the offensive line on the edge. I mean, you're lucky if you get one, and there they had Majetic and Nickel.
That's where Brady causes issues. He gets his speed. If he gets through that first initial line and you see him loose in the backfield anywhere, he's going to cause problems and make a play. 3rd and 5, let's make a big play here. Raider fans starting to get into it. Student section on their feet. High formation and then a whistle, and it's timeout Mahtomedi. We'll keep it right here. 7:40 to go here in the second quarter, call it first half. Nick Tuckner, the mailman, Owen Ely here at Todd Field. And the Raiders down 7. Yes, sir.
Well, I was gonna say, you know, this defense is nothing but playmakers when you think about it. But actually, I wanted to beat you to the punch here.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to be the first to mention the smell of the beer stube. It's getting to me.
See, they do it on purpose right around halftime, don't they? There's something strategic about their release of steak fumes.
We're on to them. We're on to the beer stube.
Janss's, Julie, we're on to you across the street. We know how you work.
It's a brilliant plan. They got all these people here.
Yeah, bring a heart steak and some toast over, and we'll be just fine, and we'll forgive you for any of the smell release because it is absolutely wonderful.
We're pretty easy forgiving guys.
Yes, exactly. And if we don't get the steak and toast, I will go there for lunch tomorrow and get a steak sandwich. I think that sounds perfect as we come back to live action out of the eye as everybody's hungry here approaching halftime. Hey, that's movement. That should be a flag. It's not going to be, and this pass is going to be incomplete. Now, that should have been a false start for 10 years. If we got a shot of the near side receivers before things went down, that should have been a penalty there, and the Raider coaching staff is still livid, wanting a penalty. And now we have the end of the play. Great effort, my goodness, first of all, by Newman. As we said, we know his athleticism anyway, but man, oh man, was that a leap and a chance for Mahtomedi to keep this drive going. But right now, as it stands, we're looking at 4th down and 5 at the 39 of Mahtomedi, and they're in punt formation, and the Raiders might be able to get this thing back. Jack Cloutier going back deep. Wouldn't it be fun to get him loose on something?
Well, you need somebody to get yards, so it might as well come via special teams. Cloutier's a playmaker, always has been. So
there was something about Jack Cloutier in the pregame where he had that look. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. You see the kid through the mask, and you just kind of know. Here's the boot by Brandt. That's awful. Boy, is this just, it's not the night for Mahtomedi punting as Brandt gives it a chance, and this one is going to get down. Luckily for Mahtomedi, took a little bit of a bounce for the Mason Navy and gets down to about the 34. So the Raiders will start with the football. 1st down and 10 from their own 34. 7:24 to go here, first half, second quarter. And Owen, okay, 7-0. This is still more than a game, a chance to get down the field. And I think more importantly here, if you can get a sustained drive, eat some clock. I don't care if it's 3 points, 6 points, 7 points, 8 points. I just want to get something on the board here knowing we get the football to start the second half.
Well, that's the silver lining. You get the ball at halftime, and now is the time for them to get something here. You're only down by 1 score for all the failed offensive drives thus far. It's still a 1-point game.
Pass tipped at the line. Great play there by one of the linebackers stepping up. It was 14, and that's Dylan Bauman. What a great play, knocking it down at the line of scrimmage.
But I'll tell you, it's beginning to look more and more like we might just need a big play to try to get a score, because trying to sustain it looks a little harder than they're making it. And this is where you really, really miss somebody like Johnny B, because this would be the perfect spot when there's a lull in the game, when you're down, a 75-yard touchdown on a little cut across midfield.
We haven't had a big play yet this year.
No?
Not one. I think it's probably time for one of those. 2 receivers, 1 in motion, now call it 2. Raiders just deked out a false start as they're also going to eke out the ball getting back near the line of scrimmage, but not even close enough. It's going to be a loss of 3. And boy, it just is tough sledding against this tough physical defense that Mahtomedi is throwing out, and we knew that getting down against him is a bad thing. We know it, but man, they're just being unforgiving defensively to our offensive unit right now, who did struggle last week.
Well, think about how many yards Zion has run just to get, the few yards he's had. I mean, running 20 yards to the sidelines just to get 2, breaking 3 tackles just to lose 2 yards. I mean, tough sledding doesn't even do it justice. I mean, this is brutal. Even
a guy like Barry Sanders, for all those years playing for a poor team, and he'd play against a group like the New York Giants that would have so many fearsome linebackers and linemen that they just chase him for hours. Yeah, you might be able to get some yards in the backfield, but those don't count on the score sheet, as this is going to be an incomplete pass. And that time, we had Cade Kimmis wide open, and Foss just can't connect with Kimmis off his fingertips, and the Raider offense continues to sputter and, quite frankly, tread water here in the first half, still being only down 7. The defense has done more than their fair share, but now they're going to be thrown back onto the field again. Another time where we're going to beg them to make a stand, and again, they've been out there just too long in this first half.
I fear this game very quickly becoming 21-0 because, again, this is just inhumane, the amount of pressure they're putting on the defense here, and they're up to the task. They'll always be up to the task, but man.
Here's the kick. Nice one again from Vincent Zai, and it hit him, and now they got to pick it up. He runs it near side and out to the 40-yard line. That ball hit him in the foot, it looked like. Mason Hughes escaped some big-time mistakes there, and oh boy, that could have been a big break for Hastings that we need. And quite frankly, I have to be honest with you, fans that have been watching this, we've gotten plenty of breaks so far and just need to take advantage as we got a flag on this too.
Very late one.
Does that smell like some sort of a after the play foul maybe for 15 yards?
Yeah, somebody might have said something.
Not trying to hypothesize.
And Mahtomedi's backing up.
All right.
Only is a delay of game against Mahtomedi.
Delay a game. After the play?
Yeah, that's.
I wonder, did somebody kick the ball out of play or something after the fact? You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I took my eyes. I thought the play was over.
Right. So somebody might have did something to slow the play down after the play. We just weren't able to see it, caught up in the fracas of the weirdness that was going on there after the change in possession. Raider D's out there. They're ready to go. So yeah, that was after the play, but a
5-yard penalty.
delay a game. So that the only thing I can think of, fans, is that somebody from Mahtomedi either kicked the ball or altered the ball in some way that the referee couldn't get it and set the ball up. We'll get into that some other time. Here's the handoff on the I formation, gigantic hole. As the Red Sea opens, called the Blue Sea. Big run for Mahoney. That's 10, enough for a first down. Move the chains just like that. Snap of a finger, and the Zephyrs have a first down on the ground.
Well, they made up for that penalty and then some.
Right.
Gain of 11, first down, Mahtomedi.
11 yards, first down, because that penalty, remember, was before the drive started, but after the change in possession. I formation. Handoff goes up the middle and again to the fullback. Sanger will get near first down yardage himself. It looks like they're going to give it to him, and another gain of 10.5.
And they're just chugging along the field here. We'll take another look at that last run, and they're just bursting through the seam with such power that it's just kind of, I mean, these Raiders defenders are getting a hand on them. They're eventually tackling them, but they're just powering right through the middle of that Raiders defense.
Here's where that rotation of running backs for the Zephyrs is going to pay dividends tonight. Max Strecker in as Sanger comes out with a little stinger there. And he brings Strecker in, who also has seen plenty of footballs throughout only 2 games. I formation again, right in the Raider emblem. Hey, again, a keeper by the cornerback in Charlie Brandt. And he won't get much, but it's positive yards, and that's all that matters to Mahtomedi as they try to run this first half clock down without the Raiders seeing the football again, of course, knowing that Hastings does get the football to open half number 2. It's 7-0, Zephyrs leading with the football here, under 5 to play in the second quarter, first half.
Yeah, they're just going to have absolutely zero urgency here and just try to drain as much time on the clock as possible.
Raiders trying to stack the box here. Handoff goes back up the middle, and they'll get a couple, but not much. That worked for Hastings. Boardman gets in there, has some help from Ryan Clemens. Also, Creed Peterson in the vicinity. We say that seemingly every play. 4:25 to go, clock runs, and again, Mahtomedi content with eating as much clock here, even on third down. This is what they do sometimes, too. I mean, it's almost like a stall type of offense when you're up by a couple in basketball and you're just trying to eat the clock up and go home with a 39-33 win. You know, it's kind of like that, working the clock. Mahtomedi has the ball eye for him. Hey, they moved early. Blow that dead. Thank you. Even I can see that, and I'm half blind.
Penalty marker on the field.
Well, that's definitely going to help out the Raiders, especially with the yards per carry that Mahtomedi's been getting.
Also puts them in a pickle here now for this third down play. And you might have thought before that play that they'd be in 4-down territory. But now, with the ball back at about the 47, near midfield, if you can get a stop with minimal gain here, you're looking at potentially forcing the Zephyrs to kick it again, albeit right into the channels of your own end zone. Here's Brandt out of the eye. Mahtomedi's fans trying to get into it on the option pitch. It goes left side, runs a man over, but Creed Peterson hangs on for dear life. Hangs on to bring Mahoney out of play, but after a gain of 5.
Peterson was not going to get beat on that play. As soon as he saw the play developed and the runner cut to the outside, I mean, it was like Peterson was shot out of a cannon there.
Brand punted last time, too. The offense stayed out there. So if there's going to be a punt, it's going to be a quick pooch. And he's going to go under center for the time being. Let's see if he does drop back. They're going to go for it. On 4th down, Brandt keeps it. Rolls out, Raiders have pressure, but left a man open. Near side caught, 1st down, Will Newman. Raiders had 3 in on pressure. He knew that left somebody hanging in the backside. Brandt finds his man, and Newman's a guy you cannot leave open. 1st down on 4th down. Big play, Mahtomedi.
Well, and you can hardly blame them because how well their defense has been doing. If you spot them the ball at the 45, I mean, they've spotted them the ball at their own 35. So,
right.
The Raiders have not put any fear in this defense to where they don't think they can force a 3-and-out here.
3:03 to go. That clock continues to tick down in the first half of what has been a fairly quick-moving first half of play. From Todd Field, week 3 of the Minnesota high school football season on HCTV. Back to pass Brandt. Pressure comes. Raiders overrun it. Still with pressure. Brandt throws it up. Raiders pick it off! Intercepted! And the Raiders will bring it out of the end zone to the 3. Should have taken a knee, but that's okay! Raiders get it back on the interception in the defensive backfield. Blake Vanderhoff steps up to make a huge play for the Hastings Raiders, and another multi-sport leader steps up to bail the Raiders out when they needed it most.
Tremendous pressure there, and that's what led to the interception. Again, a defensive assist, and Vanderhoff, we talk so much about Peterson and Chumsland, but he's a fantastic player as well. I was cringing a little bit because he probably should have just went out of the back of the end zone. So you get the ball at the 20. Now you're really pushed up against your own goal line here, but you'll take the interception. That's a play that's really going to invigorate the crowd.
I'm trying to think of how many 90-plus yard touchdown scoring plays that I've called in my 22-year career of calling Raider football. I would say it's under 5, but I would love to see one here. 2:40 to go, first half, second quarter, 7-0 Mahtomedi. Hand off to Clemens, and he gets some step through to the 15-yard line left, and that's darn near a first down. Again, Thunder Lightning approach. This time, Thunder carries the Raiders.
And it just might be one of those games where, yeah, it's going to be. It's no indictment on Zion, just the style of the defense, the size of the defense. It might be a Clemens type of game at running back.
We saw that with Fryermuth and Peyton Burrow for years, as those two worked in a wonderful tandem. Love to see that again. 2:05 to go. Raiders have a little more room this time. Out of the shotgun is Foss. 2 receivers to the left side, go to the right instead. Here's the pass, caught there by number 86, Matt Foss, and he will get out near the 20, just short of that, a gain of about 4. Second down. Raiders have all 3 timeouts should they get to kind of a spot where you think you can take a couple chances. But right now, I think the Raiders would be happy and content too, even though we'd love to get some points here. And we know Sieben's leg is true from a ways away, and the wind has died down since the sun has started to go down. That wind out of the south has calmed down, and maybe we'd have a chance at a potential field goal. Handoff Clemens. And again, powers his way back to about the line of scrimmage.
Brian Clemens, the ball carrier.
Timeout by whom? Whistles blew.
Well, that's the $1 million question. Is it Mahtomedi trying to get the ball back? On the screen it says Mahtomedi timeout, and yeah, it looks like it is Mahtomedi who calls the timeout. I was going to say that'd be very peculiar if the Raiders called the timeout because of the lack of urgency, draining the clock down to 4 or 5 seconds.
Now, this is a straight-up challenge from Mahtomedi's coaching staff to ours. They're saying that, hey, you know what, right here, you guys can't beat us in this particular spot on the field. So they're going to go ahead and probably send some pressure. Raiders got to find whoever might be open in the backside of this pressure that might be coming and at least find a first down. Because Mahtomedi right now is saying, hey, we have faith in ourselves that with a minute or so left that we can still get some kind of points after you guys either kick it away or we find a way to take the ball back.
You know, and Zion's got quite a leg, but, I mean, if you're punting it from the 20, they're still going to have a good field position, really, no matter how you slice it, if they can't convert here.
$1:15 to go here in the first half, second quarter, and now the Raiders, I think, are going to call timeout. They will. So now Hastings will
Timeout, Hastings.
talk about it here with third down and about 3.5.
Because now it's a challenge for the Raiders to get this first down, because at the very least, even if you're not thinking about getting points with 75 seconds on the clock and, you know, about 80 yards to go, at the very least, if you can get that first down, you can take some shots and, you know, effectively run off the clock so that you're heading into halftime, still a one-score game.
It's kind of a battle of, you know, who wants to do what here. I mean, after this play, I'm saying, is if the Raiders do complete a first down and if it gets maybe to about the 30, are you content with, you know, either taking the Zephyrs' final timeout away from them, letting them try to stop you there, or run out the first half game clock? For those of you who care, Philadelphia is up only 3-0 on the Vikes, and I say only because I thought it'd be 30-0 by now. And yes, I am a Vikings fan. I just have no faith when we're out in that particular place. Twins are up 2-0 in the fifth. Out of the shotgun, 3rd and 3. Back to live action as the handoff goes to Clemens and nowhere.
Yet another challenge won by Mahtomedi.
Right. They said, hey, come on. The Raiders had some time to talk about it there.
And now Mahtomedi is going to call their final timeout. And, you know, it's not even about points right there. It's about a moral victory. It's about saying, you know, we're not playing this game on your terms. And, you know, the Mahtomedi draining down the clock and getting these sustained drives, I mean, the game is being played on Mahtomedi's terms. There's no question about it.
It's been a frustrating first half, I know, for Hastings Raiders and fans alike. But we still have 24 more minutes of football to play, and we saw a low-scoring game less than a week ago that turned into a Raider victory, although there was no scoring in that second half, as you see a beautiful night here in Hastings. And like I said, I don't know how many more we'll get through this fall that are this gorgeous. A bunch of our security, we thank them. Some of our band peeps, we got all, I mean, again, even on a Thursday night, it's a community event when we're here at Todd Field.
I mean, this stadium is almost as full as it was for the home opener.
I'm amazed on a Thursday night. I think with school not being in session tomorrow, I know my elementary kid's not in school tomorrow. I don't know if it's for everywhere else, but this one's going to be fielded on a fair catch at the 42 of Mahtomedi as Newman will hang on to it. And now a minute one. Yeah, you got about 57 yards to go for pay dirt and maybe a little less to try a field goal. I know Mahtomedi over the years has never been scared to attempt field goals. That has been something where they have always taken those points and whatnot. So I would think that right now that the Zephyr staff is probably saying, let's find a way to get something on the board. But you got to think here with the Zephyrs just not respecting the Raiders in the first half that they're going to try to go to the downs to at least one of these things and try to put the big one on the board.
Yeah, they are playing this game with no fear.
No. 0. 2 receivers left, 1 right. 1:01 to go. First half handoff, chugging up the middle and carrying 2 Raiders, breaking away from another, and then a third. And Creed Peterson will tackle the ball carrier. And that's Cole Sanger, who needs a pass when he can rumble ahead in the run game for 20 yards.
Well, that changes everything because now it really puts you in range to try to do something here. You can see a tremendous urgency on the on the Mahtomedi offense.
No timeouts, so that's the urgency here. Brandt to pass, looking left the whole way, and that's going to be tipped away on one whale of a play by Kimmis in the defensive backfield, trying to find Newman, and Kimmis playing perfect secondary, and that was a great stop for the Raiders. Bring up second down and 10 from our 36-yard line as Mahtomedi on the run here towards the end of the first half, 46 seconds left.
And normally the Raiders do such a good job at completing tackles and not just arm tackling, but that's why you can't arm tackle, because if you run into a big, strong fullback like that who just, you put him on the spin cycle, but he still gained, 15 yards after contact.
Physical running first half, that's the story so far, and that all really going to the Zephyrs. Screen pass perhaps. Brandt still looking to complete it. Now he will take off and run. He loses the football, but the loose ball is scooped up by Mahoney, who is Johnny on the spot. You cannot advance the football. No, they're still going to say that he did recover it where it was still a first down. And now Mahtomedi is going, Hastings is going to, why is Hastings calling timeout here?
I think they either had an extra player on the field, or they were trying to make some sort of substitution and just didn't have the time.
Not the right personnel, so.
Well, here's a look at the previous play, the fumble. He just spun him around. Kind of a lucky recovery there by Mahtomedi. Really anybody's ball when it's that far out in the open.
They haven't protected the football well. If you're going to take one, pigeonhole out of Mahtomedi's game in the first half, I mean, from the opening kick when it was kind of juggled and that has not looked very good for Mahtomedi tonight. If you're going to find one spot, the Raiders could definitely exploit in the second half, recover some fumbles, and turn this into our football game.
Well, this is where you need to have a little Peanut Tillman uppercut to the ball, because they're not holding on to the ball, so you got to take any advantage you could possibly get against this team.
Smack that ball out if you can. I formation left side, two receivers right, long side of the field. That's where Brandt looks, sets up the screen, has him wide open. That's going to be caught by Mahoney right, gets pushed out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 25.8 seconds left here, right about the 15 of Hastings. So the Raiders, who have leaned on this defense here in the first half, are asking them to make another gigantic post-halftime play.
And whatever, you felt like you had to take the timeout. Okay, you wanted the right personnel out there, but don't think that timeout did not help Mahtomedi just as much, if not more.
I meant pre-halftime play. Back out of the shot. I should say that's Brandt out of the I formation. Incomplete left, 22 seconds and change, 22.5.
Yeah, he just threw that ball before his receiver even made the cut. Hard to tell where the receiver is going to be if that route running is not A+.
Has a great deep ball, does Brandt, but, the Raiders are doing so many good things in the secondary. What does Brandt do here? 3rd and 3. He's got some thumpers in the backfield that have averaged 7-some yards a carry, even on third down here with 22 seconds left and no timeouts. Brandt will pass, puts it up left, almost intercepted, incomplete. Kimmis almost picked it off his shoe tops and went 90 yards to the house. He had nothing but Walgreens in front of him. Had that ball been thrown just a little higher, and we'll take a look as Kimmis was so close. If he would have caught it, he probably would have been down right. But, if he could have caught it, ball was a little bit higher up, pass left, and if it would have been just a little bit further up, Kimmis could have stepped in front, picked, and ran.
Yeah, passing to the outside, especially with that much open space, is so scary.
We're going to try a field goal here. Will Mahtomedi. Charlie Fiend from 33, good snap. The hold is decent. Kick, I think he missed it. No, that's wide right, and the Raiders get it back. Special teams victory. 13.4 seconds left. What do you do here with the timeout?
There's, in my opinion, this is just my philosophy, there's no harm in throwing a Hail Mary.
Yeah, why not?
A lot of teams are worried about, well, what if they pick the ball off? Well, what if you score a touchdown?
Right.
If you throw it deep, As we'll take another look
Yeah.
at the missed
That
field
is
goal
right.
here from Thien.
You know, it was tailing, and wind's not big, but any little wind might have helped there.
But if you throw an interception here, you can just chalk it up to a punt, really. There's no harm in throwing a pick here.
Exactly, but they're going to come out tight, and we're going to end the first half.
I really don't like that call.
Unfortunate. And let's go talk about it. So a knee from Foss. I get it, we're deep. Would have been fun to at least try something there out of the fun playbook, but instead we will go to the locker room. And a pretty quick first half. Raider defense, especially the secondary, fantastic. The Mahtomedi running game took control early, but the Raider defense doing enough to keep this thing close as we see Brant sneaking in to open the game when we still had the sun out.
Yeah, that feels like quite a long time ago. I mean, the one thing you can hold your head on for the Raiders, and we saw this last week, they can win ugly games, and this is one ugly game right now.
Yep, 7-0 is your score as the Mahtomedi Zephyrs do have the lead, but it's anybody's game heading into the second half. Of course, the Hastings Raiders will be the ones getting the football to start half number 2, and that's going to be coming up in a little bit. We're going to take our break so Owen and I can gather ourselves and bring you another 24 minutes of football from McNamara Stadium at Todd Field. We'll take a break at halftime. The score 7-0 Zephyrs over the Raiders. You are watching Raider football on Hastings Community Television and also simulcast on HCTV.
I'm Haley Noring, and this is my daughter Chloe. We live in Hastings, Minnesota. Chloe will never get to know her uncle Devin. My brother Devin died of fentanyl poisoning on April 4th, 2020. Through Snapchat, Devin and his friend bought what they believed was a Percocet. It wasn't. It was a fake pill made of 100% illicit fentanyl. My brother didn't want to die. My family had to learn what fentanyl was after it was too late. What happened to my family could just as easily happen to yours. If we would have known about fentanyl sooner, maybe we could have saved Devin's life. You still have time to have that life-saving conversation with your children and loved ones. Illicit fentanyl is the leading cause of death for ages 18 to 45. Every 5 minutes in the U.S., illicit fentanyl kills someone's brother, son, father, mother, or loved one. Call 911 if someone you know is overdosing. Call United Way's 24/7 helpline by dialing 211 to find resources in and near Hastings. Contact United Way of Hastings or visit their website, unitedwayofhastings.org, for more resources or to make a donation. You can save a life by working with me and the United Way of Hastings to build awareness and reduce the stigma of overdoses and fentanyl poisonings. One pill can kill.
Push that trash that way, not this way. Come on.
Oh, hey there. Do you like HCTV?
That's one small step for Hastings and one giant leap for community television.
Do you want a custom video that promotes your business or organization and gives you the results you're looking for? As an HCTV sponsor, our staff will work with your business or organization to create a custom video to promote your brand. You also have an option of getting a shout out in every sporting event we cover. And that's 3 points for your business. So support HCTV today! Go to hastingstv.org/sponsors for more information or to give a one-time donation.
Back at McNamara Stadium at Todd Field, Nick Tuckner, Owen Ely. We're here after halftime. We're at 7-0. Mahtomedi with the lead over the blue and gold. Big tip of the hat to the Hastings dance team, and also the young dancers put on a wonderful show here at halftime. After that, we had the Hastings High School marching band, always a great treat for us as well. And look at Hastings. We didn't get a chance to tackle this early in the game, so we're going to look at it now. We kind of said both teams had kind of similar routes to where they've gotten. A blowout loss to a top team in the state. First game of the year, Raiders at Owatonna. We know what happened there, but last week the Raider defense flexes. I know the score was 9-7, but as I talked to a couple of Raider fans around town throughout the week, I think we all have a consensus that that game, you know, with one thing here, one going there, the Raiders probably win that game 21-7 or something like that, where, you know, it looks a little more impressive on the scoreboard, but that's not the way it works. But the Raiders played probably as close to a complete game as they could here in week 2, and now you look at Mahtomedi and same thing. You know, you take on Brainerd perennially down at the Metrodome or US Bank Stadium, whatever it might be, depending on the year over the last how many years. So many great teams have come down. Coach Stolsky and his squad always provide a formidable test, and definitely, even at home, Brainerd gets them, and then beating Central last week, we know they're down a bit too, and really had their way with them. So both of these teams, and Hastings, of course, coming out, will get the football here. You got to find a way to attack these guys. There has been no dog mentality, that killer instinct, whatever it might be offensively, and it's not taking anything away from this Raider team. It's just something that they need to make sure they improve on if they want to get points on the board, let alone a victory this evening.
It starts right now. I mean, it has to come on this first opening drive of the second half. Otherwise, it might not happen. I mean, you know, you talk about the last game and looking at both team schedules. Those, I don't know if it's just me, but those schedules seem a lot harder than normal. But
yep.
You know, you kind of left with a good feeling after last Friday because you got the win. It was ugly, it was gritty, but you won. You won a game that wasn't pretty, which I think is good because you know you can win however you got to win. But man, if they lose kind of a lackluster performance like this, I mean, that leaves such a bad taste in your mouth. And I mean, it's not the end of the world if you go down 1-2, but I mean, this game is here for the taking if you just make some adjustments offensively, and you have to score some points because defensively, this defense it almost broke in the first half. I mean, I don't want to say it's gonna break in the second half but they're just
they can't be out there the entire half anymore. No. You're totally right. I mean, the Raiders got to find a way to keep that defensive unit off the turf at least until, you know, in the fourth quarter when it matters most, when you're trying to win the game, right? And right now we get the Skull chant going again with our fans as they try to get us going. Vikes down 10-7 at last check at halftime. That's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Same with, to be honest, this game coming into it, I didn't think it'd be 7-0, and the Raiders have a chance to tie the game to open the half. Here we go, second half underway, ball in the air. This end-over-end kick will be taken at the 10-yard line to the 20, 25. Finds a seam. No, it's going to be down at about the 24. Zion on the return. It looked like for a second it was Pate who had the ball up that side because he had a couple blockers in front of him. Still gets out to about the 24.5-yard line. That's where the Raiders are going to start. 1st and 10 as we welcome you back to the second half. Nick Tuckner alongside Owen Ely. We're here on a Thursday night. The wind picking up again. And the wind picking up out of the south means more beer stew here in the second half.
Just what they intended.
Just what they intended. We talked about all of that chicanery, we'll say, with the release of steak smoke at certain times to perk the noses of broadcasters and fans alike. 11:57 to go. We're in the third quarter, call it second half. 7-0 Mahtomedi, and Foss out of the gun. Works far hash left. He will pass left, and he has a man. It's caught for about 8 yards, and then falling ahead for another one. Calling a gain of about 9. As a complete pass goes to Foss, and the Foss to Foss connection, as Manny says, as we see a great pass here coming up from Lucas, and an even better grab there by Matt.
I mean, that's about as positive of an offensive play as you've had all game, so that's a great start. being on that extreme far hash, I would love to see some of that four stack formation, whatever creative offensive plays they were running, because it might take some creativity to beat a physically superior defense.
And like we said, it might not take, I don't want to say much, that might not be the right word, but you know what I mean, folks. We talked about this. If the Raiders want to win, it's probably going to have to be a low-scoring game, and right now they have that opportunity, as Clemens will try to rumble ahead, but rumble he doesn't that far, as he'll only get about a half a yard, and I think this is going to be still short of a first down.
Well, we'll see if we can get a better look at the spot, and yeah, it is going to be third down. They've just had such a time trying to run the ball tonight, whether it's been Clemens or Zion. It's really hard to move the ball forward and sustain drives when you're not getting yards consistently.
And that was such a slow developing play. And then that's something there in second and short you can't have when you still know that you're probably going to have some guys in the linebacker spots coming in and helping out. Now it looks like maybe a blitz coming, as they're not going to be able to get the keeper. What a great penetration there by Mahtomedi. The whistle still hasn't sounded, but the Raiders don't go anywhere. And again, just unable to move the pile. The physicality game tonight, Owen, has been won by the Zephyrs. And you hate to say it right now, but in a 7-0 game, that physicality is what is putting them ahead and over the top right now and only a 7-point edge.
Well, that play is just exactly how this game is going. They did not move forward an inch on that play. And there's such an advantage when you quarterback sneak it to try to gain that short yardage there. A very impressive performance there by that front four of Mahtomedi.
Zion takes the snap. Good rush comes in, but Vincent again gets away a very good punt that is taken with a fair catch at the Mahtomedi 33-yard line, and that's where they will now begin with their first offensive possession of the second half. And you look at the score clock right now, 9:49 to go. Raiders only took a couple minutes off the clock, and again, that also is not going to win you any games.
You have to score points. Just plain and simple. I'd say it's almost nothing short of a miracle that it's still a one-score game. Even right now, if they get a stop, they're so in this game. It just feels so out of hand right now.
Some of the pieces of streamers and whatnot left on the field. You see from the dancers earlier is this time not much at all at the right side, but a second little push there from Alec Mahoney will get him about 4. Second down. Mahtomedi, their first drive of half number 2, really worked the clock in the first half. Although the Raiders were able to get the ball back a couple times in situations you thought maybe they were going to, as we said, crumble defensively, but they find a way. And here now, 2nd and 7. Out of the eye, right hash. Back to pass, Brandt caught Newman. First down and more across the 45 to the 47, right in the Pirates bandana near midfield.
Mahtomedi just making the easy plays, the short little connection here, and then the extra yardage after catch is so impressive. It's only 4 or 5 yards extra, but it's enough to get the first down to move the chains and just chomp right into this Raiders defense.
Raider defense sets. 8:40 to go, third quarter, clock running here in Todd Field, week 3. Fake the handoff up the middle to give on the end around to Newman. Gets open space along the right side, will gain 9. Near another first down, he'll be just short. Second and short now for the Zephyrs, who are running the ball at will, kind of like they did in the first quarter.
It's just so hard to stop them, whether or not it's power, whether or not it's speed. A nice little throw down there by Majetic, but it's almost like we talked about before the end of the first half. It's almost like they just need to force a turnover. They just need to punch the ball out or something, because just trying to stop a sustained attack from Mahtomedi is just not gone their way.
Zephyrs put a man in motion. That's Newman again to the wide right side. Handoff up the middle, and again bursting ahead with a lot of physicality will be Cole Sanger, and the senior will gain about 6 more. Raiders lose a helmet. Vincent Zion will come out for a moment. That'll allow the Raiders to send Jack Goet into the game and get a play here. Maybe even in limited time, he can make a huge play here on second down and about 5. And you can see Mahtomedi just putting along, and they're just happy with ticking down the clock as much as they can here, knowing they have the lead. And even at 7-0, they feel that they are in control. Brandt, a man in motion to the near side, faking the jet before the play. Handoff goes back up the middle, and another first down carry. Carrying about 4 Raiders there on the play, and that is going to be Alec Mahoney again. And the Raiders out the bottom of the pile, sending Sorensen among others. Again, just have to keep making plays, find a way to not let these guys into the end zone.
I tell you, these kids for Mahtomedi are such powerful runners. They have such strong legs, because normally we see these ball carriers for opposing teams just get thrown around, whipped around by the wrestlers that occupy this Raiders defense. But it is taking 2, 3, 4 Raiders to take them down, and they take them down eventually, but they're putting up quite the fight.
Some big gains, averaging around 8 yards a carry anyway, and this time Brandt on the keeper will take it back up the middle, and he will be about a half a yard short, I think, of a first down, but he got a second effort there. They might end up giving it to him. We'll have to wait and see what the official spot is, but I think it's right on the 20, which would make it short a yard. And that's exactly what we have. Second down and 1 from the red zone, right on the line, the red stripe, if you will.
And I love that play call from Mahtomedi because of the block immediately by Cole Sanger right up the middle. I mean, it's you're getting your weapons down the field immediately with a lead blocker.
And just having their way physically with the Raider D on this drive. Mahtomedi again out of the eye. Sanger plows ahead, carries a man, gets down inside the 15 to the 13. Gain of 7, move the chains, first down, creeping up on and goal territory, but another chance at a first down before they can pop into the end zone for Mahtomedi as the ball is spotted just east of the 15-yard line.
Gain of 6, first down Zephyrs.
And they just subbed out the big man, Connor.
And again, they don't lose much in size between Sanger and Strecker, the 2 senior bowling balls. And here is a man in motion to the near side, again faking the jet. Brandt wanted to pitch on the option, had nothing. He'll take it himself and gain about 2, maybe 3 to the 10.
You know, and this is why Mahtomedi is having so much success, because even broken plays, even the plays that don't work, they're still getting 2 or 3 yards every play.
And it's working, and they're keeping the clock. They know if they score here, it's a 2-possession game, and the Raider offense has not challenged their defense that often, if at all, in this game. So if you're Mahtomedi, you're probably thinking score here and let's sit on the football the rest of the game, and that's kind of their MO. And it wouldn't shock me if they find a way to points here that's the frame the game starts to get into. Handoff in the backfield, given to Mahoney. He'll get a couple down near the 5. I don't think he got any more than that.
We could really blow the whistle a lot earlier.
And they did not do that.
But Tuck, this is a crazy part, because they were sitting on the ball in the second quarter.
Right.
That's the type of confidence that this team has, both offensively and defensively, is that they've been sitting on the ball basically the whole game.
For years, I've watched Prescott play against Somerset, and they kind of do the same thing. I mean, it's really a similar type of offensive attack. Handoff in the backfield, scooped up, thrown down, no gain. Great play in the backfield. Alton Majenik again with a nice play. And wraps him up for 4th down, and this is where you start thinking, do we go with the field goal, or is Mahtomedi that confident in their squad that they can put points on the board, or their defense then coming out, even in a 7-0 game, if the Raiders can stop them here, saying, hey, our defense will just keep doing what they're doing. So they're going to go. They will go for it on 4th and 3, or they will at least look like they're going to.
And that's a part of the confidence I was just talking about.
Is this a... Now, okay, I was wondering if that was going to be something where he'd maybe try to bark him off sides with 3:16 to go, 3rd quarter, or just kind of do what they did and call that timeout and say, all right, let's talk about it. And then figure if we're going to go ahead and send the kicker in, Thine not out there for this discussion. So we'll keep an eye on what the offense is going to do here, but this is a pivotal part of the game.
I mean, 2 possessions is 2 possessions. Thine definitely has the leg. He had more than the leg to get that field goal earlier, even with the kind of end-over-end kick. It was just the accuracy or something in that chain of command there that just didn't work out for Mahtomedi special teams.
You probably think that the Zephyrs are still going to run the football because pretty much that's what they've done all game. But I wouldn't count a pass out here to catch the Raiders off guard on 4th down. Man in motion to the far side of the field. That's Newman. And he's going to pass. And he's got a man wide open. And that's an incomplete pass. He never caught it. And that was a gift touchdown that the Raiders just gave to Mahtomedi, and they gave it right back to Hastings. As we watched the replay, we knew kind of a fake sell, and looks over to the left side and just in and out of the hands, and no way for Thine, who was the kicker as well, doubles as a tight end, and he was wide open. The Raiders gotta take advantage of this now, Owen. They have to.
That is the Raiders are just getting gifted time and time again with fumbles, interceptions, a missed. He
was wide open.
Yeah, I mean, you feel bad for a kid dropping something like that, so you don't want to pile on too much. But that was a gimme. That was definitely a gimme. So it's Tuck again. I keep saying it. It's still 1 possession.
Right.
If you score a touchdown, you're literally right back in this game.
And a chance to win it down the stretch against a top opponent you see seemingly year in and year out. Out of the gun, Raiders have a long ways to go, 95 yards to be exact, and here's the handoff that will go to Clemens, and he'll scoot ahead for maybe 4 if he's lucky, depending on the spot. 3 minutes to go, under 3, clock ticks here, 3rd quarter from Todd Field. Nick Tuckner, Owen Ely, Raiders down 7 to the Zephyrs here on a Thursday night.
I got to tell you, I'm really liking this gold leaf on the field, kind of like how Boise State has that blue field. I think this should be a permanent fixture for the Raiders.
Hey, when this was being redone, it was funny, and I know it was just kind of a question to throw in the air. It was like, what color turf are we going to have, right? I mean, it'd be kind of crazy to have blue turf. And this time, pass left side. This is going to be tipped and incomplete.
And that was Thien again. Thien almost had one of the shortest pick sixes you'd ever see if he would have caught that one.
This is just unfortunate here for Hastings. They just can't get anything going offensively. See that streamer there at the feet of, well, who's it going to be? You got Legs. Now you got, not sure who is talking to Mr. Hansen right there.
Can I just say we have some of the best camera men in the business.
Oh, yes. Without a doubt. And I kind of told Kurt Radke that during the halftime show. You guys are the show right now, no doubt. Here's Foss rolling out, and he just puts one up into the Hastings bench, and this is just not going our way offensively, and that is just not going to get the job done on any night, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, I don't care. Whatever's going on here, we just got to get something else in line here because the Raider offense is not moving the football enough to even tie this game, let alone take a lead.
And Tuck, how do you fix this? I mean, I'm kind of stumped at how you get out of this funk. I mean, you can't. They're having trouble establishing the run, and then when you pass the ball, you're not really completing it. I mean,
no,
it's a tricky equation.
Well, here's a snap to Zion. He's got to get it away, and he gets a decent one to the 45 Hastings, and down to the near side to the 35-30, and that's going to be a horse collar, a face mask, something like that. Nope, they're not going to throw the flag.
And we got a player down in the end zone. It's Thien. Thien almost blocked the kick, and then he fell down.
No, and he is their kicker too.
And it looked like he hurt his left leg when he fell down.
Oh boy,
didn't look too good.
He is down in the end zone to our left.
I mean, he's almost made massive plays all day long, and then you get injured like this. You gotta feel for him.
This is probably a cramp here, folks. Yep. Yeah, we're looking at a cramp. Yeah, he's definitely cramping up, folks. So he's going to try to shake that baby out. I'm sure, well, I don't know. He's not putting much pressure on that leg. Well, now he is. Well, he's hoping for the best for that young man. He plays a big part in this, especially offense, but special teams. He's been vital with the extra point kick, and of course he can hit what could be, if the Raiders could score and get an extra point themselves, maybe a winning or go-ahead field goal. So you put one of those players that are very important to what you want to do, and now you can see down along the far side someone taking some long snaps, but Brandt's really been the one doing the punting. I'm kind of curious. We'll keep an eye on it. Mahtomedi, 1st and 10 from the 27 of Hastings, short field. Handoff will go to a new back who's going to kind of slip on the turf and not get much of anything, and that'll be number 30, who, well, funny, he's not on our roster tonight. So, thank you, Mahtomedi.
Another mystery man.
I can't stand that, folks. That's one thing in high school sports. I don't understand why you can't have the player, a player that's a varsity player who you know is going to be on the field potentially time to time here in the second, that you don't have him on the roster. It's just, it makes us as media people sound like we don't know what we're doing. But folks,
mean, did this kid join the team this afternoon? What's going on?
Got him out of the beer stew. Here is the pitch out right side to the aforementioned number 30, whom we don't know. And that'll be a run to the 22. So professionally and tackly, I should say, number 30, the ball carrier again for a couple.
Well, if you happen to know who this player is, I mean, you could leave a comment on YouTube, or if we're on Facebook, that'd be greatly appreciated. I mean, he's this year's Johnny Lagerman.
Hey, remember that whole thing? Well, how can you forget last year in the playoff game especially? Oh, my goodness. He was kind of a nuisance for the Raiders last week. He was all over the field. 3rd and 4. Probably one more play here. It's a running play anyway. I should say 3rd quarter. I formation. Brandt will pass, and this is going to be incomplete. Just hasn't worked well for them tonight, where the Raider offense completely has sputtered. The passing game just hasn't looked good tonight for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. And now you're looking at 4th down, and, Thine's on the other side of the field right now.
Well, and I thought it was going to go so differently, because that first play of the game, they air the ball down the field. It was a beautiful pass, just kind of slightly overthrown. And that was not very indicative of what was going to happen.
You can see there the coach is talking with the quarterback, Charlie Brandt. He's going to stay out there with the offense. 4th down. Can the Raiders get another 4th down stop here? This time knocking on the door of the red zone. Ball to 21 of the Raiders. Here we go. Big defensive play again. 38 seconds left. Brandt will take it. He's caught in the backfield. Good night. Turnover on downs. Not only a turnover on downs, but a huge loss. That'll help the Raiders as well. Big defensive play against Mahtomedi at home tonight for the Raiders, and another 4th down stop. Well done here as they wrap him up right away. Is that Clemens who was in there right away?
Yeah, that was Ryan Clemens.
And a host of many. Vinny Zion jumps on the pile to say, you guys ain't going any further.
And you say good night. I mean, he really put him to sleep. Look at how gently. What a nice player. He put him down gently.
First guy there, Brady Nickel, again doing those assisting things that we've talked about last couple games. What a great
all right, Tucker, this has to be the drive.
Let's do this thing. Let's go, boys. Out of the shotgun, here's Foss. Back, plenty of time. Great protection, and that one was looking for Cloutier. That was a rocket pass, and I don't think Jack was even ready for it, let alone saw the thing as it zipped by. And that was kind of a low pass, too. We'll take a peek at it here on the replay there. And, yeah, just kind of into no man's land. Not a good spot, per se. Jack probably would have taken a pretty heavy hit there if he had made the catch.
Well, and it was right in the middle of 4 Mahtomedi defenders as well.
Yeah, yuck. 2nd down and 10, 28.4 to go seconds-wise in the 3rd quarter. No drop at all. Good pass. Out left side. Caught. 1st down and more. Breaking the tackle. Getting out near midfield. Kyan Esterby made a big catch with his feet last week.
And
this time uses his hands and his feet.
Look at how this invigorates the crowd. That's their best offensive play.
It is.
And taking those extra yards, not going out of bounds, fighting for everything, because you know these yards are coming at such a premium.
And here it is. That was physical football. Esterby went right into him, said, no, you've got to take me down. I'm going to win this battle, and he did. Here we go. Are you going to try another play here before the quarter ends? No, Foss says that was fun. We tried to get him to maybe jump. That's the end of 3. So we're after 3 quarters of play at McNamara Stadium at Todd Field. Zephyrs still 7. Raiders still nothing. But Hastings approaching midfield when we come back. You're watching high school football on HCTV and SCC TV. Welcome back, everybody. We're about to start the 4th quarter, 12 minutes on the scoreboard. Nick Tuckner, Owen Ely. We're here at McNamara Stadium at Todd Field. Maybe starting to pick things up a little bit. Raiders down 7-0. Offense has sputtered through 3 quarters, but a chance here to get on the board. After a nice catch by Esterby, Raiders 1st and 10. And here is a nice pass right side. Got again by Esterby. Sneaks through, gets to midfield, gains about 5. We saw that last week with the Raiders using the pass almost as a run. And I think right now the Raiders got to understand something here. You need to keep this defensive unit on the field. It's your time to eat some clock, tire out this defense, and take this game over.
Such a good point. And, you know, the last few plays, they've abandoned the run game, and kind of smartly so, because you're not really getting anything. You're just wasting downs at that point. I mean, you hate to be negative, but that's kind of what you're doing. But, you know, they're developing a pass game here. I mean, you know, these are only 3-4 yards, but you'll take it. You're moving down the field.
Find your spots. And right now, Esterby is one of those spots that are coming up big for Hastings. Wing back set up left side, 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Single back is Clemens, back to pass. That's going to be Foss. Caught again by Esterby. 45-40, 35, first down. Move the chains. This is what we know we can do.
The only thing that matters is this drive right now. All of those failed drives are a thing of the past. Right now, you're moving down the field. You're developing this passing game. And to be honest, the coverage is not even that close.
Let's do this thing. Raider fans, the student section's all standing right now in their pink. Raiders come out again offensively with some gusto. 2 receivers right, wide, far side Burdick. Cloutier in the slot. Left side Esterby, actually Foss. Back to pass. Foss has plenty of time, overthrows his man. He was looking for Esterby. He had him wide open across the middle, and he had the edge too. I'm going to see that one in my sleep tonight, Mr. Ely, I'll tell you that much.
And he's been very good with yards after catch, so you got to imagine that one could have been big. But you have to have the memory of a goldfish right now.
That's correct.
Put that one out of mind.
The goaltender mentality, as I was always told growing up, between the pipes, you let one in, you got to have a short memory, forget about it. You got a whole rest of the game to play, no matter how much time's on that clock. Put it away, and the Raiders got to do that here. 10:30 to go, 4th quarter. Down 7-0, Hastings with the football. Here's Foss. Puts up a screen and a good one. Caught by Clemens, good block. Has room in front of him, 30, cuts back. Now he tries to get back ahead to the sticks. He's going to be just short, but I like this right now. This is Raider football. This is a lot better than what we saw in the first half, a lot better than what we saw in the 3rd quarter, and now we're really starting to see this Raider defense. Look at the offense. Look at the Mahtomedi defense right now. Some guys are kind of hanging their hands around their hips. I mean, the Raiders are starting to come at it. Now you're seeing some guys get shaken up a little bit.
That's such a good observation. They're so not used to it. They're not conditioned. And you know, the Raiders, when they put this ball in space, they make things happen.
Yep.
I mean, you know, for as small and as fast as we talk about the defense, the offense isn't really that big either. There's some speedsters on there. So when you're just going man-to-man in the trenches with a bigger opponent, well, you better have some pretty good technique, because that size is really going to matter, but speed is really going to matter when you're out in the flats.
And I think that a lot of this, too, you look at a hockey game, too, with Hastings and Mahtomedi all these years, and it seems like they'll always come into your place. They come at you with just everything for a period, but they expel everything in that first, 17 minutes. And then you could take the game over. And we've seen Hastings beat the Zephyrs by doing just that. And that same Zephyr team goes on to the state tournament every year. The Raiders can do that here on the football field. You have the edge now. Now it's time to put it in the end zone. And like we've said ad nauseum, take it over. Take it over. This is your house. This is your game to win. It's time to do it.
I mean, Mahtomedi is giving you the game right now. They're allowing you to get back into this.
Two receivers, 3 left. Raiders work far side of the field, the short side, one receiver wide to the right. Foss, plenty of time, protected well. Pass, caught by Cloutier! So nice to see you, number 9. He's here.
Look at Cloutier telling him it's first down. Got a little swagger on that, and Foss took a big hit. Foss is a big guy as well, and he stood in that pocket, and he got leveled, but he made the completion.
Good football, gentlemen. Good football. Keep it going now. This is exactly what you needed. Longest penetration by the Raider offense in this game, now at the 15-yard line. First down and 10. You can still get a first down before scoring at the 5. Out of the gun. Here is Foss with 3 to the left, 1 to the right, along with a setback. Puts up a pass into the corner of the end zone, and Cloutier is interfered with. How are you not going to call that pass interference? How are you not going to throw a flag there? That is illegal contact. Unbelievable.
Well, we'll get another look at this here. There's definitely contact beforehand.
You've got to be kidding me.
I mean, the ball was maybe a little bit overthrown, but it's conceivably catchable if you didn't get pushed down.
In a 7-0 high school football game, there is no reason for that flag not to be thrown.
And you mentioned the possibility for another first down. Positionally on the field, they're in a good spot because if you get to the 5, it's a first down. Sometimes it just works out like that.
Shove it in the end zone here. Clemens takes it, rumbles ahead, up to the 10, to the 9. Carries half the student body of Mahtomedi down near that 10-yard line. Under 9 minutes to play. We tick, 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 tick. The clock is running. 7-0 Zephyrs. Fourth quarter.
Tuck, this game feels totally different. It feels like the Raiders have the Zephyrs on the ropes.
This feels like Raider football again, doesn't it? This feels like a lot of what we saw last week out of this team. Utilizing the passing game in short yardage situations, getting a break or two on a couple of the catches to get a little more. See Esterby for that portion of this broadcast, and the yards after the catch, huge. 3rd down and 5. Let's get at least a first down here. The handoff's going to go to Ryan Clemens. Now, I know what they're doing. They're playing this for 4 downs. Okay, you can use Jack here and at least get to within 4, but then you're looking at a touchdown to win if you stop them with 8 minutes to go in a clock control style of offense. This is a very big decision time here for Hastings, but I don't think that the decision's tough for Coach Strain and Coach Cook because they're leaving the offense out here, and that was a much shorter game than I had thought. It is 4th and 3. It is not 4th and 1.
Yeah, maybe the spot was a little
wow. Raiders have been
helpful.
Kind of thrown behind the 8 ball here on calls on this particular drive. From the 8, 7:38 to go, 4th quarter, and he's going to keep it as Foss, and I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That was not the call. Turnover on downs.
And that was your best drive of the game. That was the drive of the game for you to score, to get into this game, to put them on the ropes. And just like how the Zephyrs kind of got, or the Raiders got bailed out defensively when the Zephyrs turned it over on 4th, on the last drive. I mean,
my guess is that play that we just saw was not the play that was supposed to be. I don't think, just knowing Coach Cook, Coach Strain, that was not the play they drew up for that particular spot. Something happened, something wrong happened, and it cost the Raiders. I just don't. There's no way that was the play that they had put in that particular location. Handoff going up the left side, finding some room, and yep. Mahtomedi, a big first down gainer. That's a gain of about 30, and a huge gain at that. And the Raiders now, after a couple things don't go their way, you cannot let this snowball in the other direction, and this is exactly what played into Mahtomedi's hands. A quick run to the outside, and boy, that big fella can go. When Sanger gets going north and south and then cuts it east-west, he is a very dangerous back.
And now you have to get a stop here, possibly even a turnover.
Yeah, turnover time, right?
Because you're not zipping up and down the field, so you still need a few minutes on the clock to get that game-tying drive, supposing you do get the stop defensively.
Where's our safeties? What are we doing here? Well, that's fine to send the blitz, and now nobody's in the backfield, but that's fine because you had a ton of Raiders right around the outside edge, but Brandt still finds a way to slither out and get a couple yards on the play. Gain of 4, says Manny Hill. Boys, some of these plays, see, that's the thing on the other side. Some of these broken plays, Mahtomedi has been able to get positive yards tonight. The Raiders just have not been able to find something out of nothing like we seemingly were saying all the time 1 week ago.
Oh, that's so true. I mean, can you even name, a negative play they've took? I mean,
no.
Sometimes it's only a yard or two, but they have not really had any negative plays tonight.
2nd and 6. Brandt puts a man in motion. Newman, fake the jet, give to the fullback, another first down Sanger. And then some, gain of 10. And he's just trying to eat the rest of this clock and get into the end zone and win this game. And folks, I'm totally dead serious. If Mahtomedi gets in here, the game is over.
First down, Zephyrs.
I mean, we've always kind of known that the Raiders they're not built to be a team that comes from behind.
Nope.
They're a team that stays either very close in games, and they don't really blow out teams either. They either stay close or they get a small lead, but the small lead is enough because they can rely on their defense.
And boy, do we need our defense in the worst way here. A turnover would be optimal. Here's the handoff. Or no, actually, they got him in the backfield. Vincent Zion will get the sack for Hastings. Even had the broadcaster faked out. That's a sack. So a nice job there by Vincent Zion. Let's take a peek here. Watch Vinny Zion kind of sneak through the edge and really actually up the middle and just right onto him. I mean, that's a NES play-action football sack for back in 1990 on the old Nintendo.
And I guarantee that one hurt because he got put down to the turf with quite some force. But that might be the first negative play they've had all game.
And the Raiders aren't going anywhere. They're showing that defensively here that, that's grand that it's still a one-score game, but we want that football back. 2nd and 12. Raiders bring blitz again, and he's dead. And intercepted! Oh! This is going to be to the 10, to the 20, I should say, and taken down. Is that Ryan Clemens? It's Ryan Clemens! The senior leader with the interception and turnover of the year for the Raiders in a slow developing play. What happened, Owen?
They needed that so badly, and they just overwhelmed them with pressure. Look at this. They had 2-3 players with pressure. Should have just taken the sack. Sometimes it's better just to take a negative play and not have it result in something like that. And if number 16 there wasn't that fast, that would have been in the end zone right now.
And let me tell you here too, folks, on that particular play, sending pressure that second consecutive time shows that is working up the middle right now. The Raiders have something working defensively up the middle, and they're able to exploit that on Brandt. And now the Raiders have a huge chance offensively. Oh, my goodness. Let's go, Raiders. Here's a handoff, and now rumbling ahead left side. Who is that with the football? Is that Chumsland?
Sawyer Chumsland.
Sawyer Chumsland in the game at running back for the Raiders. The 5'10", 175-pound senior is running the football.
And it's crazy that it's taken 4 quarters for the Raiders to realize that pressuring Mahtomedi works and passing against Mahtomedi works. But now's as good of a time as ever to put those lessons into practice.
Oh, and you took the words out of my mouth. We always mention adjustments. It seems cliche, right? But obviously the Raiders, knowing how much time's on the clock, are making adjustments on the fly, and they're working. 2nd and 5. Foss out of the gun. Chumsland with him in the backfield. The pass knocked down. Knocked down there by number 50, Michael Kasel. And it's 3rd down for the Raiders here. Now you can, and As a broadcaster, you can, but as a player, you can't. What if they would have taken the points, taken the 3, hit the field goal, and you're looking at a chance to maybe win the game. So again, you can what if, but that's just every play matters, right? I mean, it's really proven that here on this drive. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Single back, Chumsland. Blitz coming. Raiders let the pass go, and it's incomplete. The Raiders this time couldn't pick the blitz up. Now here's the deal. If you're going to go for it on 4th down, you better darn well protect your quarterback because they're going to send the dogs again.
You need to get a pass off quick.
Yep.
Because it's 5 smaller offensive linemen versus 6 or 7 bigger. I mean, look at the linebackers from look at the safeties from Mahtomedi. They're bigger than some of the linemen. I mean, it's such a big defense. This very well could be the game.
This is probably the game. I don't want to say it is, though, because the Raider defense keeps finding ways to get the ball back. Out of the gun. Here we go. 4th down and 5 from the 15. Foss with pressure coming, and he is in trouble. Escapes, finds room. He's still sacked, and he still won't get enough. And the Raiders will still turn the football over.
Have to get the ball out there.
Ouch.
I mean,
ouch.
Foss, we've seen him scramble. Let me correct that. We've seen Foss take yards well, but he's not a mobile quarterback. He's not a scrambler.
No.
You can't really design quarterback plays with him. That's obviously not what this was. But he's fast enough to take the yards, but not fast enough to try to Lamar Jackson it through the defense.
That was as much to do with the coverage from Mahtomedi as anything. There was nobody open.
But even if it's an interception in the end zone, you just have to put the ball down. It's not an option to hold the ball.
Yeah, give
you
your
have
guys
to put the ball up.
Nope, you're right. So frustration. But the Raiders haven't let frustration affect their stature overall. Still 7-0, 4:07 to go in regulation. Back to pass, putting it up, far side, and that's going to be caught but out of bounds. This should be incomplete. Great job defensively, far side by Cade Kimmis. I mean, the Raider secondary, folks, they're for real. No doubt about it. Another great play by Kimmis, just forcing him out. He couldn't get a foot down.
And they're just sending almost everybody at the quarterback. And talk it as crazy as this sounds, as much as people might not want to hear it, like the defense has to score a touchdown here because I don't think the offense is going to do it. So
almost did last time.
Well, they might need to if they want this to go to overtime.
It was a foot race, and unfortunately Clemens rumbling with a guy who had track star speed and Mahoney behind him. This time handoff gets into open space. It's Mahoney. Hits the edge, 40, midfield, 45, no flags. Hasn't been many flags at all tonight, and that is a just kick to the solar plexus to Raider Nation.
I mean, we saw a big play like this happen the last drive, and then they ended up turning it over, but it still doesn't mean it doesn't hurt when that happens.
1st down, let's take a look again, just kind of a counter. Gets outside, and once he got the edge, you knew that it was at least a 1st down, but then you got to credit Mahoney with capping off what was probably, if not one of the, if not the biggest play of the game now for the Mahtomedi offense, who hasn't been as spectacular as you'd think either tonight. Raiders jumped. No flag. Handoff will net 3, maybe 4.
And we get a late flag coming in on the pile. There's going to be a holding. They wasted no time. The ref couldn't wait to get that call out.
Holding against the Zephyrs.
Now, so no motion on the Raiders, but the Zephyrs will get moved back a little bit, and Coach Strain says move them back, make them get the job done again.
I mean, if they were moved back 10, 15 yards, that would have been a Ryan Clemens touchdown with the lead he had.
Yeah, seriously, if Clemens would have scored on that thing, this town would have just went kaboom.
Probably would have just Forrest Gumped it out of the stadium at that point. Just ran over to Prescott.
Someone's asking somebody for the Edina Minnetonka score. I don't think anybody here cares about that game.
No, they just care about one score, and it's 7-0.
You're right. Well, it was more of a joke to Edina that they don't care about anything but themselves. That's where I was going with the whole Edina side of things. You know what Edina stands for, right? I'm not going to go there. Anyway, every day I need attention. Here's the handoff left. Oh, no. Into open space, and that's going to be the big play that we didn't want to see. It goes the other way for a touchdown. 48 yards.
Every day Cole Sanger needs attention because you got to pay attention to this guy.
Yep.
That's your dagger right there.
3:18 to go. 48-yard run for Sanger.
And
makes
again,
it 13.
That's just the defense being too tired. The defense kind of, I mean, what do you tell of this Raiders defense? Because they have had an A-plus, beyond A-plus performance. But yet you're going to lose a game 14-0.
It's going to be a lot of good tape. I know that's a kind of a consolation prize to our guys. By the way, nice to see Thine back out there. He will attempt the extra point. Here's the kick coming up. 3:18 to go. And he will make it a... No, he will not. He missed right again. So 13-0 with 3:18 to go. I'd be more excited if it was 13-7. So, Raiders, you folks know what they have to do. I don't have to tell you. I mean, it's got to be quick and painful to Mahtomedi. And whether that's striking on the kickoff or on the first play from scrimmage, it's got to happen right now.
Well, it's probably going to have to be special teams or defense, and special teams is up next, so you better hope for a kick return as we get another look at that Sanger rushing touchdown.
When he got into open space, and for being a guy that is so physical, to see his breakaway speed when he gets into open territory, I mean, this running game is very potent when it needs to be. And like we said earlier, it was all about pounding the Raider defense down until they finally cracked, and that crack came with 3:18 to go, unfortunately. Twins are going to win. They're up 10-2. That should pretty well end things in the Central. Philadelphia up 27-7 against the Vikes. That's probably a little more than where I thought that game would be. Raider fans making their way to the exits as Pate will bring it across the 20, 25, 30, skips the spot to the 35 to the 40, cuts back into the middle, 45, near midfield, Antoine Pate. That was pretty.
That was a nice return. Might be a little too late, but wow, it is a mass exodus of fans. They do not want to see this final 3 minutes. And how impressive with Sanger, too, because, they have rotation, but how tired is he? He's gotten the lion's share of the carries. Just a great job there by Pate on the replay, just not to give up, stay in bounds, and fight for those extra yards.
This Raider defense is awesome. That's one thing that, the rest of the way you're going to have to lay your helmet down on, is that your defense is going to find ways to win you games. I know not everybody's going to be Mahtomedi. We'll get into the Raiders' upcoming schedule. Hard to believe it'll be week 4 already next week. Pass here is caught. Esterby, man, he can stretch out, lay out. He finds ways to make the catch, and I think he's starting to become some kind of a safety blanket for Foss.
Well, it's good that somebody is. Yeah, Esterby's had one heck of a game.
Raiders will hurry it up. 2:48 to go, clock running. Raiders will be at Bloomington Jefferson a week from tonight, another Thursday game. Back to pass, now running. Foss across the 50, and he'll get a first down. Call it the 42. See, he can be slippery. There's no doubt about that. And now we're going to get a whistle. Do we have an injury? No, we don't. We're just going to spot it.
First down, Raiders.
Well, hey, if they're at Bloomington Jefferson, I'll just walk down the street.
You can crab walk down the sidewalk and get there. This Mahtomedi team, who do they got? Because they play in the weirdest darn district thing that I don't even know what this thing is. They host St. Thomas, then they host Tartan, they go to Cretin, host Robbinsdale Armstrong, and go to Spring Lake Park. The Raiders rest of their schedule as there's a timeout here. We'll get into all the rest of what's coming up. Mahtomedi tonight at Bloomington Jefferson next Thursday the 21st. Back home against Crean-Durham Hall on the 29th. That's a Friday night, and that's going to be pretty festive, as you would think. I believe that is also homecoming. Then we go on the road for 2, one to Armstrong. That's a trip and a half, folks. And then a Thursday night at St. Thomas, yuck. And then back home for MEA Wednesday, and we'll take on Cooper. And boy, depending on the season, either Cooper or Armstrong or both, they also can be formidable and play a similar defensive style that the Raiders and the Zephyrs do. So it's not going to be an easy run here. I mean, the Raiders, they have their hands full as it is when it comes to sectional play, but boy, in this district, there's nowhere to hide either. And now Hastings with a 1-2 record going into week 4. And I know Jefferson not having Freitag, he, of course, went on to play prep high school basketball on the West Coast, and then he said, no, I'm not going to do that. Instead, he comes back and enrolls at Breck, and now he's going to play there. Not having a game changer like Freitag, I wonder how that will affect the game next week.
Massively. I don't know exactly how, but I can tell you massively, because he was just
everything.
By far and away the best player on that field on that night.
And we'll see those Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars a week from tonight, as we mentioned. And that'll be up in Bloomington at their municipal field. They and Kennedy both play there. We were up there a couple years ago for Hastings Jefferson, and it was crazy because it was an early start, and then right after that game, Kennedy played later in the evening. Actually, I take that back. Kennedy played first, and then we played to round out the evening. I mean, they played like Cooper or something like that year. The Raiders and Jefferson. Hastings came out and spanked Jefferson pretty good up there last time we played it in Bloomington. And I think we're going to have something with the play clock. So more delays of the inevitable here. Wind's starting to pick up a little bit more again. It's still out of the south. But from time to time here, we've noticed the wind kind of dying down and being pretty variable. But it hasn't affected the game in any way tonight. The showers that we know will be coming through when we all hit the pillow tonight are still west of our area.
Yeah, it's been very sporadic and not having an impact. Could have had an impact.
And that's over on KDWA. This pass through the middle, looking for Cloutier underthrown.
That was a golden opportunity because he there was defenders around him, but he was open.
They're playing kind of no doubles right now. To take a baseball term out, they're just trying to keep him in front of them. They'll give him stuff under and give him first downs. That's fine, but they want to make the tackle, keep the clock running. Raiders, I don't think, are going to get too far into their timeouts. I don't think that that's a priority at this point in the game. Although the gamesmanship will probably, well, right. So, I mean, you probably see them here, especially if you get a first down. Back to pass, Foss. Nice block on the edge rush. Pass is caught. Caught for a first down, and that is Matt Foss. Great hands over the middle, and that's what the Raiders need. Take a little hit, pick your quarterback up a little bit, and the Foss-to-Foss connection produces a first down. Nice to hear Manny Hill getting excited in the press box with 2:15 to go in the game. 13-0. Mahtomedi, Foss again on the run. Pass caught by Foss. Breaks a tackle. 5, goal line, touchdown Raiders! Gosh, it feels good to say that tonight. Touchdown to Matt Foss. You gotta love that. Okay.
That's
right.
Now things are a little more interesting.
Hey, here we go.
We'll take another look at the scoring play here. I mean, you would hope that two brothers would have the chemistry like that, and obviously they did. A nice little stiff arm and powers his way into the end zone. Raiders kind of getting resurrected here from the dead.
Heck of a toss. Great run after the catch. Jackie Sieben down, my little buddy. And he puts it through. There we go. 13-7. Let's get the ball back. You got all 3 timeouts. Now all of a sudden I sound pretty idiotic, don't I? Think we can use these timeouts now, huh?
Yeah, we definitely could use these timeouts now.
Yeah.
But even more than that, we need an onside kick.
Yeah.
A successful one at that.
All right. Okay, Jacko, can you do this, buddy? You've saved us week 2. Now can you provide the onside kick with a big hit on the outside from one of our gunners and do this thing as Coach Strain, mic up, getting his boys ready. Coach Hacksef kind of hanging out with some of the special teamers, getting them all jacked up. Coach Welch in there. And I had to correct myself, too, for Coach Welch last week when we got that penalty to win the game. That was orchestrated by the Raiders, Coach Welch said. He said, I didn't sound excited enough because it was so anticlimactic. But I said, he goes, no, we tried that. That was us. So I have to correct myself. What the heck was that? Did you guys just hear that?
Yeah.
What in the world?
Not quite sure what that was. Sounded like it was coming over from the
that wasn't what I
Walgreens.
thought it was.
Well, I sure sound like something.
You know what? That was not. That sounded like 3 of them. That was way too close. Hopefully that was a truck backfiring. 2:07 to go. Here's the onside kick. Right to him. Nice job, Jack. Good job, but we just couldn't get there in time.
It's just hard without the element of surprise. You know, they hit a surprise onside kick a couple of years ago against St. Thomas.
Remember that? Oh, my gosh. See, if you want to get us jacked up, just get this stadium to see us complete an onside kick for the good. That is one of the most fun plays to see, especially when it means so much in this game. Now you got to force a turnover. This is where your defense, you can't think about being tired. This is the drive that you want to have now. You have a chance to get this game back somehow. Sneak up the middle. Brandt runs a man over. Raiders did not need that.
Wow.
And they'll carry another 2 men,
That's
3
the game.
men for a first down, and you are correct. That could very well be it. Raiders do have 2 timeouts. But that really hurts.
He just quarterback sneaked the ball for about 14 yards.
You'll see it here. He just kind of rode his center, runs a man over, puts his forearm up and says, you're not taking me down until I get to the sticks, and then some. And mark him down at the 36 of Hastings. 1:38 to go, clock running. Why the Raiders are not using a timeout, I suppose. Like you said, it might not matter.
Well, I think you could use the 2 timeouts, but there's still, with the 2 kneel downs, they probably could end it.
Sneak again, and too many yards. Too many yards. He's going to get 8. That's just too many yards. When they're giving you the opportunity to tackle them and play the 4 downs and give the ball back because they just don't think the Raider offense can move it down in a minute.
Calling a timeout now, I don't exactly know why you would call a timeout on a first down.
Right.
Because now it really doesn't matter. They could kneel down.
Well, 2nd and 2. I mean, I guess if you get a loss here, you can. Then maybe you're talking about getting the football back with what? Man, 10 seconds after a timeout, run the clock down. I mean, if you get the ball back, you're talking about 1 play maybe, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying bad snap? You know, if you're looking at the percentages on ESPN right now, the Zephyrs are at 99% and the Raiders are at 1.
Yeah, that
you know
little,
what I mean?
that little FPI meter or whatever.
So it's like, come on, well, where's the 1%? We need to find it. Who is the 1%er today? Man in motion. And the quarterback keeps it. He was hit behind the line and will get taken down. The Raiders can call their last timeout, which they will. So that'll bring up 3rd down and about 4 from just shy of the 30 of the Raiders. So the thing that the Zephyrs want to do here is keep the clock running, whether it's a first down or not. Because like we said before, they'll get 4th down. And not only that, they're pretty confident that they could stop the Raiders in a Hail Mary type of situation should it come down to it.
Well, and it's a 6-point game, and you wish you would have gotten the ball back a little earlier or kept the drive going, but I mean, a touchdown and a Seben extra point, and you win it. So that missed extra point by
that hurts,
the
doesn't it?
Mahtomedi kicker. Yeah, I
think it would.
Could have made a difference.
Right.
still can make a difference if they can find that 1%.
We need it. Seen miracles happen before. Handoff, but it's a first down. And the miracle will have to wait another night.
This miracle has just been put on ice.
Yeah, you are very correct, for lack of better 1980 terminology. That will put it away. And the Raiders will fall tonight. I thought if the final score was 13-7, I swore to myself the Raiders would be the ones winning this. The defense played spectacular again. One big play late after so many stops. So many big plays defensively. Big turnovers as Brandt takes the knee, and that does it.
It's just such a conflicting game because there's a lot to like, but there's so much that they have to fix. And I'm telling you, this offense has to get rolling. They have to do something. Nobody's saying you have to score on every single drive, but they need to get something because what they're asking of this defense is just, beyond the human realm.
Yep. It's unfortunate, but the Raiders have some time now to get ready. You have a week. It's a little weird week, of course, being that it's going to be on another Thursday, but the good thing is you have a team you're very familiar with, a team that you know very well, and a place where you've had some success. So, for the most part, if you're the Raiders tonight, after you play a team that perennially is a state tournament squad, you lose 13-7. You got something to build as you head towards next week. Great job by the Raiders late in the game. You see Foss cashing in that late touchdown, and now the boys come through the line as the game comes to an end tonight. Final score tonight, 13-7. Raiders, they fall to 1-2. Mahtomedi jumps to 2-1. For the mailman, Owen Ely, I'm Nick Tugner, sending it back to the HCTV studio. Raiders fall by a score of 13-7, and of course we got some stuff coming up here over the next couple of weeks. You saw that here just a moment ago. We'll put that back up there. Soccer against Mahtomedi on the 19th. I'll be here doing PA, so if you're here at the game, I'll have the PA here for you for Dick Craig, and then we'll have girls swim on the 21st against the Polars of North St. Paul. Girls swim at home against Mahtomedi on the 28th, a week later, and of course football at home against Cretin on the 29th for homecoming, and that wraps everything up. Thanks to Hunter Pinkey, the mailman to my right, Max Slocum, as well as Seth Easler, Kurt Radke, along with Will Celine, Hunter Pinkey as well, doing double duty when it comes to graphics replay and producer and director duty. So, again, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you, Owen. I love working with you, man. It's always a pleasure. Hopefully next week we can get a win, and when we come back here next game, we'll be at 2-2. So thank you again for all you do, and thank you to all of you watching. Raiders fall tonight. Final score 13-7, and that does it for us. We'll send it back to the HCTV studio. Good night, everybody.